Dish TV is better than cable TV. Why? Because you can save 45% on packages compared to your high-priced cable bill. Wow. Take those giant scissors out and cut the cable and save with Dish TV. Plus, you get a free DVR upgrade to record your favorite shows and free installation. And with Dish Anywhere, you can watch TV for free on your mobile device. Act fast. You can save hundreds of dollars. Does your cable company do that for you? Get all the best TV programming at your fingertips at a fraction of the price of cable TV. So say adios, arrivederci, goodbye to the high cable bill and save up to 45% on Dish TV packages today. These are limited time offers and can change at any time. Call fast. 800-405-2561. 800-405-2561. 800-405-2561. That's 800-405-2561.
Sports Professor Rick Horrow, Beyond the Scoreboard, the show getting behind inside the underbelly of the trillion-dollar business, marketing, legal aspects of sports. You can't get better than where I am today, by the way. We're recording this looking at Jerry Jones's face at the Ford Center complex right next to the Star, which is where the Dallas Cowboys have their headquarters in Frisco, Texas, and where the ancillary of the draft was, the administrative nerve center of the Cowboys, even though the draft set all kinds of records at AT&T Stadium. And when you think about it, 200,000 people entered a lottery for 20,000 people a day, $1 million, let's say $100 million of economic impact, and a 4 or 5 day average visit. And the bottom line of all of this, the NFL creates a new mobile asset that they're going to put on the market, whether in the next years is Detroit, Denver, Green Bay, anywhere in the country, because you don't need it indoors. It's at the end of April, beginning of May. Doesn't have to be downtown, could be. Doesn't have to be at a stadium, could be. It is an incredible event. How about inside the draft? We heard last week about Lamar Jackson paying his lawyer an hourly wage because the slotting of his first-round pick didn't require a lot of negotiation. We'll see what happens now. And then the Browns selecting Baker Mayfield. John Dorsey may be on the spot. He's the GM that risked his job, basically, to make sure that this guy, Baker Mayfield, is not like Johnny Manziel. And every NFL season provides a fresh slate, so it remains to be seen whether the Browns' gamble on Mayfield and the other 2018 draft maneuvers will pay off for the chronically bottom-dwelling franchise. We have Steve Patterson in a couple of minutes, who ran the Texans, ran their draft, ran the Rockets, the Blazers, the Coyotes, the University of Texas, the University Arizona State University AD. He's been through it, a perspective of...
We're going to take a short break, but when we return, more Rick Horrow, the Sports Professor.
I'm running a pretty serious side hustle thing. I drive, I deliver, I DJ, I podcast, I hustle. It's a lifestyle. Until one of the side things pops off. It's apps, mail, messages, and music all day, all night. What gets it done is AT&T prepaid for only $55 a month with AutoPay. I even brought my own phone and got $50 of service free. It's more hustle, less hassle. Man, that's a pretty good line. Marketing should be one of my side things.
Switch to AT&T prepaid with no activation fees and no annual contracts and get unlimited data on one line for only $55 a month with AutoPay. Plus, get $50 of service free when you bring your own device. AT&T. More for your thing. That's our thing. $50 credit offer ends 6/7/18. Requires activation and payment on new line of service on $65 per month plan and AutoPay enrollment. Credit applied within 21 days of first month payment. Wireless price includes $10 AutoPay discount. AT&T may slow data speeds when network is congested. Video streaming limited to SD. Additional charges, speed, usage, and other restrictions apply. See store for details.
If you're one of the millions of Americans who can't work because of a serious injury or illness, you may be eligible for disability benefits from Social Security. Receiving benefits is your right. It doesn't matter if you've applied before and the government has said no. Let the experienced attorneys at Bill Gordon and Associates help you get the Social Security disability you deserve. Their team of attorneys have been fighting for benefits for people just like you for over 20 years. And best of all, there's no fee until you receive your benefits. There are many conditions that make you eligible, including some you may not even be aware of. So if you're disabled and unable to work, call Bill Gordon and Associates today for your free no-obligation consultation. See if you qualify for the Social Security benefits you need and deserve. 800-443-4996. 800-443-4996. That's 800-443-4996.
Message and data rates may apply.
Hi, I'm Frank Thomas, the Big Hurt. After I left baseball, I just couldn't stay in shape like I used to. Turns out, once you hit 40, your body has less free testosterone, and that can make it harder to get into shape. So I got back into the game with Nugenics. I'm feeling stronger with a lot more energy and drive. You want to get back into shape? Get Nugenics. All you have to do is send one simple text.
Frank's right. Just text LIKE to 42424 to get a complimentary bottle of award-winning Nugenics, the #1 selling free testosterone booster at GNC. Its unique man-boosting formula is powered by Testofen, a patented key ingredient clinically researched to help a man feel stronger, leaner, more energetic, and more passionate.
And guys, she'll like the difference too.
Nugenic samples are not available in stores. To get your complimentary bottle, text LIKE to 42424. That's LIKE to 42424.
Welcome back to Beyond the Scoreboard with Rick Horrow. We pick up right where we left off.
Top 3 items as far as the 15 of the month. We also have a link to that on our site, horrorsports.com. But the top three stories of the week, as far as NBC Washington concerned, regional, national impact. Subscribe to us on Apple, iTunes. Look for us on Stitcher, Google Play, Audio Boom. The usual suspects. Let's talk about some other NFL stuff before we get to Steve Patterson. Well, when you look at what's happening in Vegas, obviously the draft, the epicenter of the world now, but how about the new stadium in Vegas? A leading urban growth researcher and executive director of the Brookings Mountain West believes that Vegas and Orlando are the two cities that have the potential to utilize sports stadiums in the most effective way to bring in positive economic impact to the region. And because of the strength of the Vegas tourism economy, the new 65,000-seat, $1.8 billion stadium being built just off the Strip, set to boost the already vibrant economy of the Nevada city. The Raiders planning their move for 2020, the Golden Knights to thank for looking at a blueprint on how to effectively integrate a pro sports team into a community. Scene shifts. Maybe there's some nervousness and maybe there's some development opportunity in Jacksonville. Shad Khan, the owner of the Jaguars, confirmed that he is intent on buying Wembley Stadium, the 92,000-seat venue in North London, currently owned by the Football Association, English football's governing body, and used primarily for cup and national team matches, as well as massive concert tours. Khan's bid for $835 million in cash, up from the expected $600 million that sources thought he would offer. The Jaguars tried to make Wembley their second home over the past years, having played 5 games in the last 5 years there, with an upcoming match against the Eagles on October 28, coming at that North London Stadium this season. Said Khan, the announcement and additional evidence were committed to create and enhance new revenue streams to boost the Jaguars. An ever-astute businessman, Khan no doubt realizes Wembley's year-round revenue potential, even if the NFL never intends and embeds a team in London. How about this, though? Bottom line of all of that, too, is that last week we talked about a $2.5 billion deal called the Shipyards in Jacksonville that is being enhanced by who? Shad Khan and the Jaguars. Why can't you have 2 feet across the Atlantic, one as a development opportunity in Jacksonville and one as an opportunity to bring the NFL even stronger over to London? Remember, Shad Khan also owns the Fulham team in the Championship League. Incredible entrepreneur. Look at other NFL events as well, but not just NFL, but football generally. The Calgary Stampeders winning the right to host the 2019 Grey Cup at McMahon Stadium. Bigger, better fan festival in the week preceding the league's championship game. Commissioner Randy Ambrosi stressed the significance of engaging fans the week ahead of the match. Initially, the city's plans for a festival scarce and limited, but Alberta Minister of Culture and Tourism Ricardo Miranda announced that the province would pay $1.5 million Canadian in funding for the bid and the accompanying plans. The 2019 match will mark the 5th time Calgary hosted the Grey Cup. The last time, 2009. So all across North America and even in London, branding, festivals, stadium ownership, and a whole host of advantages clearly make deals not just one-off, but also really, really important as far as larger development opportunities as well. How about the players that are playing? Football-related, Tom Brady, Michael Strahan, they raised $3 million for a production company. $3 million for their digital company called Religion of Sports Media, Inc. The document filed with the SEC talks about Advancit, which invests in media and technology companies, was co-founded by Viacom director Sherry Redstone. Courtside VC, based in New York and Boston and Detroit, also invests in sports and technology. And Tom versus Time was produced, as we know, by Brady's Facebook video series. The company did the documentary about Kobe Bryant, Victor Cruz as well. So the players are getting more entrepreneurial, and the industry and the fans are benefited. Finally, how about Sam Darnold? Well, everybody talking about whether he's going to start with the Jets or not, but the one thing they realize, he is a clever guy, and he has the face of the Jets kind of on his back, if that's not a bizarre metaphor. He also developed a elongated throwing movement on longer passes. He was losing time and power. Jordan Palmer observed as a coach, deploying a Wilson soccer ball with undetectable sensors, Palmer and Darnold evaluated various throwing motions for lengthy passes and have been capable of providing him with a faster cross that did not have an effect on ball velocity, launch angle, or spin pace. While Darnold and Palmer have been utilizing the unique the Wilson 10 related football, tracking primary knowledge about ball velocity, spiral accuracy, distance, and whether or not the cross was caught or dropped by the receiver, we've been in a position to use the info and understand that Darnold wasn't gaining any higher spin, but he was becoming more efficient. And after Darnold's input, Wilson created a superior model of the Wilson 10 ball with greater caliber sensors. The company now gearing up to launch a brand new product later in 2018, an elite football and tracking system referred to as the Wilson-related football system that'll be marketed to NFL prospects. So even if Sam Darnold sits on the bench for the first year, he will have had an incredible impact on how the game is played. Kudos to him. Kudos to Wilson. Before we leave and talk about other items, let's introduce Steve Patterson, good friend, AD at Texas. AD at Arizona State. He was part of Bob McNair's bid that ended up founding the Houston Texans. Put on the first draft and becoming a really significant executive with the Texans. Arizona Coyotes now, he's trying to get him a new arena and going forward with them as well. And also, he's been involved with the Portland Trail Blazers. The guy has run teams from an executive level at all sports. Compare, contrast, the draft and beyond. Steve Patterson.
Rick Horrow with Steve Patterson, and I could tell you he's the president CEO of the Arizona Coyotes. It's hard to memorize his resume because there's so much there. There's the Houston Rockets. There's the Houston Texans. There's the Portland Trail Blazers. There's UT. There's Arizona State University. What'd I miss?
I think that's most of them.
Most of them. I'm sure there's a lot of other stuff. A legitimate
painted houses icon. One summer.
Thank you very much. And obviously in a quest for stability in the Valley of the Sun. How's that to describe your Arizona Coyotes role?
I think that's accurate. You know, this is a franchise that's had its challenges, but we've been able to consolidate the ownership with Andy Barraway taking over last year. We're right now working on building the business back up, developing the brand, creating credibility with the business community, the elected and appointed officials. And as we do that, our revenues grow and we get more solidified in the Valley.
Public-private partnerships, obviously very important. This event is all about sports tourism and economic development in the state of Arizona. Many elected officials get it, many don't. What's the kind of 30,000-foot message for investing in infrastructure?
I think if you look across the country, by and large, those communities that have decided to invest in sports facilities have gotten tremendous returns, not only financially, but in terms of the taxes, in terms of the jobs, also in terms of the quality of life for the people that live there, and for the kind of exposure it gives those communities around the country.
We're going to take a short break, but when we return, more Rick Horrow, the sports professor.
It has been said that everyone has a book in them. But do you have the time or the ability to write your book? Maybe you picked up some skills or had a life experience that you want to pass on in the form of a book to help others. Maybe you want to leave an autobiography for your family. Or maybe you've built a successful business and you want to share your story. At Dorrance Publishing Company, we have professional writers who can help turn your book idea into a finished manuscript quickly and affordably. A Dorrance ghostwriter can provide as much or as little help as you need to complete your book. You'll work directly with your ghostwriter to finish your book faster than you ever could on your own. It's easy to become a published author. Call Dorrance now to learn more. 800-485-6003. 800-485-6003. 800-485-6003. Call right now. That number is 800-485-6003.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for prescription drugs? Well, we have great news. Now you can finally get prescription drugs at huge discounts from Canada Drug Center. That's right, the most popular drugs for cholesterol, high blood pressure, depression, diabetes, arthritis, and many more are now up to 75% off. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices when you can get brand name drugs at the lowest price? Call today and get up to 75% off all the popular brand name prescription drugs. Never pay high prices again. Get the most popular drugs at huge savings from our Canadian and international pharmacies and fulfillment centers. No insurance? No problem. Prices are so low you do not need benefits or insurance to get all your prescriptions fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting to take your call now. Order today and get free shipping. Just call 800-950-1180. Up to 75% off all the popular brand name prescription drugs and free shipping. Call 800-950-1180. That's 800-950-1180.
If you are age 85 or younger, Call to learn more about final expense plans from a licensed agent in the Angel Care Network. The average funeral now costs over $10,000. Are you at risk of leaving loved ones to help pay your debts? A final expense policy for seniors can pay up to $30,000 for funeral and other final expenses. You don't need a medical exam, and you can have lifetime coverage, and the policy cannot be canceled. To receive free information about final expense plans from a licensed agent in the Angel Care Network, call now. You'll also receive information about a free prescription discount card just for calling in. Agents are standing by.
Call 800-508-5774. 800-508-5774. 800-508-5774. Call now. That's 800-508-5774.
Welcome back to Beyond the Scoreboard with Rick Horrow. We pick up right where we left off.
Success story was like Texans Super Bowl 38, recovering the dollars from that as you did it.
Yeah, I mean, the community put up the land and the parking and about $375 million to get what was then Reliant, what is now NRG Stadium, built. But you get a Super Bowl commitment right off the hop. You get a $300 million return on that. A couple of NCAA Final Fours, hundreds of millions of dollars of investment there, a couple of regional NCAA events, a new bowl game. And so all of a sudden you have all these tourist events happening on the weekend, filling up hotels, filling up restaurants, giving jobs to people that are driving cars and whatnot. And so it's a tremendous return for the community as a whole.
And 38 led to 51.
Yeah, exactly. Once you get one Super Bowl, you got a much better chance of getting another one. You know, once you get one NCAA championship and you perform well, you get a much better chance of getting another one. So once you're in the cycle of those kind of events, it's great for the city.
You work with Paul Allen in Portland, arena-related stuff. We did some stuff together. You obviously did stuff with the Rockets. You did stuff with the Texans. UT, all facility-driven and based. He used to be 7'2", and he had black hair. What happened to you?
Well, I can either blame my wife or I can blame the jobs.
The jobs are stressful. They're high visibility. Everybody in the world wants blue seats, red seats. They all have an expertise on where a site should be.
Yeah.
How difficult is that in this environment at this time?
Well, I think it's actually comes with the territory, right? I mean, if you didn't have everybody who thought they weren't an expert, you wouldn't have any fans, right? So you got to have the fans, and they got to have their opinions, and you got to have the talk shows and what goes on Twitter. It's all a part of engaging fans and people in the community. And the more engaged you are, the better conversations you'll have, the more success the brand will have in the long run.
Sports, in a way that can't be quantified, quality of life. You told a story in this panel in your Houston experience about what you've seen the last couple of years in Houston. Tell us.
Well, I think, you know, when you go through building a new building, rebuilding a franchise like the Astros have done, you see the tremendous outpouring of emotion and community involvement from them winning a World Series. It doesn't happen unless you have the new ballpark there. Same kind of thing for the Rockets, the successes they've had over the years. It doesn't happen without a new arena. You know, you don't get an NFL team unless you've got a viable stadium. You don't get the bowl games. You don't get the championship games and the other kind of events that go there without those kind of facilities. And that's part of the fabric of a great community, whether it's arts, whether it's entertainment, whether it's a port or an airport or rail lines. Sports is just a part of that makes a great community.
You've now done ASU and Texas. You're doing Arizona. You did Houston, and Portland. What's more enjoyable, college environment or pro environment?
You know, I always really look at it as what's the next challenge. You know, sort of once I've done it, I'm moving moving on to the next one. We love living here in Phoenix. You know, we never gave up our house when we left, so it's great to be back in it. We got a lot of great friends here. The weather's great like this, and like I said a little earlier, you know, growing up in Wisconsin and seeing the Phoenix Open in the middle of February when there's 3 feet of snow on the ground, it's a pretty heavenly place.
And God bless you, because the Coyotes and Steve Patterson, let me just put it this way, they need each other. Rick Horrow will be back.
Well, Steve Patterson has some interesting perspective, we all know, and the bottom line of it is an incredible position to be able to know about how to run a team, but also transfer your knowledge to a whole bunch of other sports. Steve has some really interesting things to say. Longer interview on the link as well. Let's talk about the NBA. I know the Wizards were eliminated. We're talking about other things, but that process has produced significant dollars for the team just up the road, the Sixers. They largely contributed to a $7 million loss for the city and the state, thanks to the team's on-court struggles years ago. Businesses, restaurants, tourism, hospitality, all lost. Now they head into the conference semis against the Celtics as one of the NBA's hottest teams. The financial situation couldn't be any more different. The process has paid off, with the team cracking the $1 billion valuation mark for the first time in this year's franchise valuations by Forbes. Ben Simmons, Joel Embiid, etc., a 48% spike in value, going from $800 million to $1.18 billion. The biggest jump of any team in the league. It's no surprise the process now being emulated by other pro sports franchises across the U.S. Other NBA news, the playoffs push to the next level. How about players who are being paid despite not being on the court? Two of the league's best teams have spent the most money on injured players this season, thanks to fully guaranteed contracts. The Celtics, number 2 in the East, spent a league-leading $34 million to pay injured stars Kyrie Irving and Gordon Hayward, who missed a combined 103 games. Coming in behind the Celtics are the Warriors, Western Conference's number 2 seed, $22 million on Steph Curry, Kevin Durant, Andre Iguodala, Draymond Green, but the 4 stars missed a combined 72 games. In total, injured players across the league collected more than $125 million this year, not including the playoffs. If the $125 million sounds like a lot of money for bench riding, consider online gambling analysis of the 2016-17 season. The NBA teams paid out $305 million to injured players. Finally, in basketball, we'd be remiss if we didn't talk about where the NCAA and NBAPA are getting as far as the one-and-done rule. Remember, Condoleezza Rice talked about how she and her commission recommended allowing college players who declare for the NBA draft to retain their eligibility should they go unselected in the draft. One of the commission's many proposed changes. The report published by the Commission on College Basketball called the environment surrounding the sport a toxic mix of perverse incentives. The issue of scrapping one and done will be taken up by the NBAPA's executive committee when they meet following the NBA playoffs in June. Literally, the ball is now in the NBA and NBAPA's court. Finally, let's talk hockey. We got to talk about hockey because the Capitals and the Penguins, plus the Kings after the Knights swept them, and then the Sharks, are one of the main reasons for NHL's viewership success. Obviously, the NBC family of networks, the NBC Sports mobile app, nearly 770,000 viewers, and the Penguins an amazing 9-1 against the Caps, but the series is young, and while the rivalry's been a bit lopsided, it's important for the economic engines of Washington and Pittsburgh to understand it's been pretty successful. We'll have to see how the series shakes out. And finally, at another level, the philanthropic level, UC Hockey gives back to Humboldt. After 16 members of the Humboldt Broncos, the hockey team in the Saskatchewan Junior League, died in that bus crash on their way to a playoff game April 6th, the news quickly travels south of the border. We're out of town and coming back from Chicago the day it happened, said Damian Lona, the senior captain of University of Cincinnati's hockey team. We're in a car ride home and just went, wow, it hit home. And after the initial reaction to the accident, it was, what do we do? Well, then we thought about what to do if we played a charity game against Xavier. The idea quickly gained traction, and both teams scheduled that game to raise funds for the family of Humboldt players. Many local businesses and sports teams have donated to help support the cause. Reds tickets, signed football from Andy Dalton, a gift from FC Cincinnati, gift baskets from Raising Cane's, nominated, mentioned during the items to be auctioned. This will be very successful. Kudos to them and kudos to the idea. Finally, it would be a complete washout this weekend if we didn't mention our four-legged friends. The Derby doesn't feature Gronk the horse anymore. Gronk the player bought a piece of Gronk the horse, but he ain't running. But the greatest 2 minutes in sports, more than just a mere horse race, it plays a significant financial role in Louisville, Churchill Downs, and Kentucky. Study conducted by the University of Louisville says the Kentucky Derby and its accompanying festival provided positive economic impact of about $128 million in 2011, but now the number is up over $217 million today. The return on investment for the organizing committee has proven to be equally impressive. For every dollar spent by the festival, committee has talked about $22 generated for the community. Statewide, as confirmed by the Kentucky Derby Museum, the equine industry has a $3 billion impact, generating over 50,000 jobs. Clearly, the annual Run for the Roses is more aptly an elegant run for the revenue. Big weekend. Hockey playoffs, NBA, Kentucky Derby, baseball heating up. We will continue to intensify what it means to be drafted, where we're going with majors in golf and tennis, and obviously baseball and other sports heating up next week when we go beyond the scoreboard.
We're going to take a short break, but when we return, more Rick Horrow, the sports professor.
Can't get enough of your team? SB Nation's 300-team regional and sports-centric communities are built just for you. Join your fellow fans at SBNation.com for all the best sports news. SBNation.com. Your team, your community.
Hey, travelers, do you want to save money on your next flight? Then pick up the phone and call. That's right, call, because the best prices are not online. They're with SmartFares. See, SmartFares has special deals with the airlines. When they have unsold seats, they use SmartFares to fill them. So you get airline tickets at ridiculously low prices. Our prices are too low to publish online. With the extra money you'll save, you can book another trip or treat yourself to dinner or shopping. So stop searching all of those travel sites to find the lowest price on your next flight. Let one of our SmartFares expert travel agents find ridiculously low prices for you. Call SmartFares today and get the best price on your next flight. Guaranteed. Also, save up to 50% off business and first class tickets.
855-325-1780. 855-325-1780. That's 855-325-1780.
O'Reilly. Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts during Clean Car Month for great deals on everything you need to keep your car looking new, like Mother's California Gold Car Wash, now $4.99 for a 64-ounce bottle. Plus, earn double O Rewards points. Bring out your vehicle shine with Mother's California Gold Car Wash at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day. Limit supply. See store for details.
O'Reilly Auto Fix Finder tool from AutoZone is a source of relief. Because when your check engine goes, our Fix Finder goes. For some, it's just a loose gas cap. For others, an O2 sensor. No matter what your problem is, our Fix Finder will help you troubleshoot it. So you can kiss that yellow light goodbye and go. It's the free Fix Finder from AutoZone. It's just one more way AutoZone helps you do more. Because doing more is what we do best. So visit one of the 275 Greater Los Angeles AutoZone locations near you today. See store for details.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
I'm Ryan Burke. I'm the head cider maker at Angry Orchard, and we're in Brittany, France. I wanted to make Angry Orchard rosé cider out of my love for rosé wine. We came here and found these red-fleshed apples. It's a really rare fruit. The apple brings a right, refreshing, natural taste to the cider and a deep, nice pink rosé hue. Our rosé is a little bit less sweet. It's got a really nice balance for any occasion. It's a really refreshing drink.
Angry Orchard Cider Company, Walden, New York. Drink responsibly.
Now you can fly anywhere in the world and pay discount prices on your airline tickets. Book a flight today to London, Paris, Madrid, or anywhere else you want to go. And pay a lot less guaranteed. Call the International Travel Department right now at Low Cost Airlines.
800-754-4531. 800-754-4531. That's 800-754-4531.
Welcome back to Beyond the Scoreboard with Rick Horrow. We're going to do something really special since we have some extra time here. Rick is going to reset the sports business news of the week, hitting you with his analysis and his top takes. And then we're going to rewind to an exclusive interview not too long ago when Rick sat down with Gary Bettman, the NHL commissioner. Very fitting, given the timeliness of the Stanley Cup playoffs. Here's Rick.
Sports professor Rick Horrow, Beyond the Scoreboard. Now that the Cleveland Browns have selected Baker Mayfield number 1 overall, all eyes turn toward general manager John Dorsey with his career on the line. A roll of the dice, some people consider, and his decision has drawn some criticism from analysts. The Browns are all in on the QB and certainly didn't buy into any of the comparisons to Manziel. Browns head coach Hugh Jackson noted that he was kept in the loop about the decision ahead of the draft, but was not instrumental in deciding on the pick. In picking Mayfield, the Cleveland Browns now have drafted 5 quarterbacks in the first round since the franchise's rebirth in 1999. Every NFL season provides a fresh slate, so it remains to be seen whether the Browns' gamble on Mayfield and their other 2018 draft maneuvers will pay off for the chronically bottom-dwelling franchise. The Stanley Cup playoffs gotten off to a hot start, NHL and NBC Sports seeing their best viewership numbers for the first round since 2012, the first season that all conference quarterfinals aired nationally. NBC, NBCSN, USA Network, Golf Channel, NBCSports.com, and the NBC mobile app, over 769,000 viewers. Biggest highlight, obviously, the Vegas Golden Knights' remarkable success, sweeping the Kings 7-0 in their opening matchup of round 2. Across the country, Pittsburgh Penguins and Washington Capitals met yet again in the conference semis. The back-to-back champion Penguins, amazing 9-1 against the Caps in postseason series, having beaten their rivals in all 5 of their Stanley Cup winning seasons. While the rivalry has been a bit lopsided in the postseason, it's a great economic engine for Pittsburgh and Washington and corporate backers of the teams in each region. 2 years ago, it was reported that the Philadelphia 76ers had largely contributed toward a $7 million loss for the city and state thanks to the team's on-court struggles. The lack of fans filling the seats meant big losses in revenue for local businesses, restaurants, tourism, and hospitality groups. Now, as the Sixers head into the conference semis as one of the NBA's hottest teams, the financial situation couldn't be any more different. According to the Philadelphia Business Journal, the process paid off, with the team cracking the billion-dollar valuation mark for the first time in this year's franchise valuation by Forbes. The incredible success of the court on the court this year, headlined by budding stars Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid, have resulted in a 48% spike in value year over year, going from $800 million last season to $1.8 billion this year, the biggest jump of any team in the league. It's no surprise that the process is now being emulated by other pro sports franchises across the U.S. The 2026 joint World Cup bid between the U.S., Canada, and Mexico may be becoming more controversial after one of President Trump's recent tweets. was initially seen as a clear favorite to land the 2026 World Cup. According to The Hill, the joint bid has since lost a significant amount of momentum thanks to the political climate in the U.S. President Trump warned allied nations not to oppose the bid, tweeting, "It would be a shame if countries that we always support were to lobby against the U.S. bid. Why would we be supporting those countries when they don't support us, including the UN?" The North American bid is the only competing against a bid from Morocco, with an official vote coming from FIFA on June 13. President Trump would not be in office at the time of the World Cup if they were winning the right to host, even if he wins a second term, though little has been done to persuade nations to vote for the joint bid. From supporting a travel ban mostly against Muslims to reportedly calling unspecified African states shithole countries, the North American bid could be in peril. We'll just have to see. This coming weekend's Kentucky Derby, unfortunately, will not feature Gronk the horse, but it's still sure to be packed with excitement and drama. The greatest 2 minutes in sports is more than just a horse race. It plays a significant financial role in Louisville, the area surrounding Churchill Downs, and Kentucky as a whole. According to a study conducted by University of Louisville MBA students, the Kentucky Derby and its accompanying festival provided a positive economic impact of $128 million in 2011, but that number's up to $217 million today. The return on investment for the organizing committee proven to be equally impressive. For every dollar spent by the festival in introducing this event, $22 is generated for the community, said Kentucky Derby Festival President Mike Berry. Statewide, as confirmed by the Kentucky Derby Museum, the equine industry has a $3 billion impact, generating over 55,000 jobs. The annual Run for the Roses is more aptly an elegant run for the revenue.
And now, as promised, we rewind to Rick's interview with the NHL Commissioner Gary Bettman. This was done a bit ago, but still very timely and relevant given the Stanley Cup playoffs.
You ever think that you'd ever be running a $4 billion hockey operation and be the longest-standing commissioner in the sport and longest-standing commissioner in North American sports?
Well, the answer to that question is very easy. If I were to say yes, you'd either think I was lying or insane. But the fact of the matter is no. I went to Cornell. I was in the School of Industrial and Labor Relations, had a wonderful, wonderful undergraduate experience there, went to NYU Law School, and went to one of the big New York firms. I had started out to be a lawyer. I was always a hockey fan. I was always a sports fan, but I never imagined that this is what things would turn into. I think the most important thing for any commissioner, and it's something that I learned both as a lawyer at a big New York firm and working for David Stern, is you've got to be thoroughly prepared. There's no substitute for hard work and preparation and knowing the subject matter that you're dealing with. The great news about being in sports, particularly being at the NHL, is you have an opportunity to forge relationships with wonderful people, and that is what makes the job exciting, stimulating, and fun.
All right, you can do it. Give me your 30-second elevator speech assessment of the overall health of the game.
The game itself, what the players do night in and night out, has been nothing short of spectacular. Our competitive balance is probably the best, not only in our history, but in all professional sports, and you're witnessing that in these incredible playoffs. And the business of the game has never been stronger, never been bigger, and that's a testament, first and foremost, to having the best fans in all of sports.
All right, let's get specific. Let's talk about TV. You got a couple of Game 7s. You got a weekend to yourself. NBC TV is happy. Rogers is happy. Canada is happy. International is happy. What's up with TV?
Television's good. It's making everybody happy. The coverage of the game, particularly in the United States, has never been more extensive. NBC does a phenomenal job both principally on NBC and on the NBC Sports Network. And in the early stages of the playoffs, they use their other outlets to ensure, for the first time in our history over the last 3-4 years, that every game of the playoffs is televised on a national basis in the United States. Their promotion, their coverage, everything they do is first rate, and it's brought the game to more people in the United States than ever before. In Canada, we are the preeminent television property, and Rogers is doing a phenomenal job giving fans wall-to-wall coverage. We are very fortunate to have two great partners for our national packages, both in Canada and the United States.
Well, let's talk about Canada. You've got three of the top teams net worth-wise. You've got enlightened management, exchange rate coming around. You got good play. How have you turned it around in Canada?
Well, first of all, we don't pay a whole lot of attention to the Forbes numbers on the valuations because they don't have access to the financials of any of the clubs. It's a bit of a shot in the dark. I suppose, if anything, it shows trending, and the trending is that franchise values are higher than they've ever been. When people focus on our game, when you look at it in Canada, there's nothing comparable, I think, for any sport anywhere in the world to the relationship that our Canadian fans have to our game, and it's almost breathtaking to see that level of connection. And while we have great fans throughout the world and great fans, avid fans, I think more avid than any other sport in the United States, the fact is our fan base isn't as large as a percentage of the population in the U.S. as it is in Canada, but the fan base is growing. It's growing day by day. And that's a testament to the fans we have, to new technology, to what NBC has been doing, and what we do with our sponsors and business partners.
Which is more important to you, the fact that the revenue was about $400 million when you took over in '93 to nearly $4 billion now, that franchises are worth nearly $500 million now, up 20%, or that you've had labor peace since 2005?
I have a saying that drives people crazy around here, that everything's related to everything else. The fact is we were in '93 a little over $400 million. We're approaching roughly $4 billion. Do the math. We've been talking about what the cap is likely to be. So, it's in that ballpark. But the fact of the matter is everything starts with the health of the game on the ice. And we have a system that works, that creates incredible competitive balance, that gives fans of whatever team you want to root for the hope that your team can make the playoffs, and every team has that hope. And once you make the playoffs, anything can happen, and that's what we're witnessing. We're getting better. We're better able to connect fans to the game. We're getting more exposure and promotion, particularly in the United States, than ever before. And so all the pieces of the puzzle are important when you're growing the game and the business of the game.
Is 30 teams too many, or just about right?
All of our teams are in the best shape they've ever been in. A couple still have some work to do, but our ownership situation is the strongest. Franchises are the most stable they've ever been. We're getting expressions of interest from a number of places, most notably Seattle, Las Vegas, and Quebec City. We're listening to the expressions of interest. We haven't decided that we're going to do anything necessarily with expansion. We're not even in a formal expansion process. We're just continuing to listen to the expressions of interest.
And by the way, I remember from the days when you were with the NBA and we were working hard on trying to get an NBA franchise in Miami, which you successfully helped us do. When you say X, it's not X minus, it's not X minus 3, it is X. And people ought to understand that about Gary Bettman. Let's talk international. You expanding, obviously, across the pond, but what about the Olympics? What's your process today?
We haven't given much thought to the Olympic process. We're currently focused on bringing back the World Cup, which we'll do in September of 16, and that'll be a great tournament. We do international efforts, events, in conjunction with the Players Association. We're joint ventures in doing that, and over the last few years until Don Fehr took over the union as executive director. There was a lot of instability, so we weren't able to pursue many of the initiatives that we wanted to. Now that the union is stabilized, we're working together, and I think the World Cup will be the foundation that's our jumping off point for doing a whole lot of other things. We're a sport with a great history and tradition relative to international play and international competition, more so than perhaps any of the other North American sports leagues. Roughly 25% of our players, some of the most elite players in the world, come from outside of North America, and we're going to make sure that our reach continues to grow outside of North America.
We're going to take a short break, but when we return, more Rick Horrow, the sports professor.
Hi, I'm Dr. Robert Clapper, Chief of Orthopedic Surgery at Cedars-Sinai Medical Group in Los Angeles, California. Dedicated to your health, your life, and your sports. As a weekend warrior, you know about sports injuries and pain. Exercise is an important element in keeping your body's core in good shape to minimize sports injuries. But when you are in pain, there is one product that I recommend to my patients, and that is Blue Goo Gel. Blue Goo consists of a proprietary formula developed specifically for the treatment of inflammation and general muscle aches and strains. I recommend Blue Goo for my patients coping with hip and knee pain before surgery, especially bursitis and tendinitis. Give Blue Goo a try. Call 1-888-330-0123 and you'll receive a 1-week supply of Blue Goo absolutely free. The makers of Blue Goo are even paying the shipping. The number again is 1-888-330-0123. If you want more information on Blue Goo, visit online at www.dothegoo.com.
Now available at select Big 5 stores near you.
When you struggle with credit card bills every month, you're not just in debt. Debt is all around you.
I see people every day that are on the brink. They're going to go over the edge, and at the bottom is bankruptcy, and we pull them back.
At the Debt Helpline, we're experts at helping you resolve your debt problems and become free of debt. We can help you pay off your debt and give you one lower monthly payment that you can afford.
You do get to consolidate your payments. You only have to worry about making one payment a month instead of making 3 or 4 or 5.
If you have $5,000, $10,000 or more in credit card bills, call the Debt Helpline now for a free confidential debt analysis.
800-957-6063. 800-957-6063. Call the CESI Debt Helpline right now for a free confidential debt review. 800-957-6063. 800-957-6063.
Rebuild or replace transmission, $3,200. Anti-lock brake system, $1,000. Rebuild or replace engine, $2,400. Truth is, once your manufacturer's warranty runs out, it's all on you. Every last cent. Get protection for covered repairs with a vehicle service contract from Toco Warranty. Unlike other companies, with Toco, there's no down payment, and the monthly payments are really affordable. Not sure how long you're keeping your car? At Toco, you can pay as you go. Keep your hard-earned cash and call Toco Warranty right now at 800-222-2313 to save big money on covered auto repairs. Prices vary by vehicle, but for about the cost of a tank of gas per month, a Toco plan has your back on expensive covered car repairs. Monthly payments are very affordable. Get your free quote now. Call Toco at 800-222-2313. That's 800-222-2313. 800-222-2313. Cancellation fee may apply. Subject to eligibility. Not available in Missouri and Washington. Waiting period and deductible apply. Coverage provided and administered by Warrantech Corporation or its affiliates. Not affiliated with any manufacturer or dealership. Visit TocoWarranty.com for complete terms and conditions.
Welcome back to Beyond the Scoreboard with Rick Horrow. We pick up right where we left off.
Which criticism do you find most unfair, even if it's inaccurate, that you've attempted to Americanize the game to the detriment of Canada, or that you expand into the Sun Belt at the expense of more traditional hockey markets in Canada or the northern U.S.?
You know, I don't pay a whole lot of attention to that. The fact of the matter is we're trying to make the game stronger, bigger, everywhere it is. And, you know, the fact is I was instrumental in instituting the Canadian Assistance Program in the late 90s, early 2000s when there were problems with the Canadian franchises. We want the game strong wherever it is. And, you know, we're excited about the future prospects of our game everywhere. But we focus foremost on the places where we are, which are Canada and the United States, and whatever else we may do, including worldwide, we know where the priority is.
So if you were commissioner for a day and you could wave a magic... you are commissioner for longer than a day. So if you wave a magic wand and you didn't have to worry about building consensus, what major change would you make?
I don't know. I mean, the fact of the matter is that's fantasy land. There are no magic wands. Things require consensus. There's no magic bullets in anything. It's all about hard work. It's a great time to be a hockey fan, and that's what drives me more than anything else.
Just a couple more. So, are you traveling less and enjoying life more?
Traveling lots and enjoying life. I love what I do, and while travel's part of what I do, it's not something that I find to be unduly burdensome. It's fun to get out, see how organizations present their games in their own arenas, to interact with fans everywhere we go. That's part of the fun of what I get to do.
Where is Gary Bettman 5 years from now?
If I feel the way I do today, I think there's a song that goes like that. I'll still be doing the same thing. I love what I do. It's fun. It's interesting. It's a great challenge, and there are great opportunities. And as long as the Board of Governors is happy with me, and I have the same level of interest and energy and commitment, then we'll keep doing this.
Thanks for doing the debut show with me.
Thanks for having me, and good luck.